Good morning. DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and they're looking for suppliers who can build batteries that can be used in drones, trucks, and other military gear. The batteries they're looking for need 5 to 10 times the energy density compared to batteries built today. They need developers to design new battery cells using materials and architectures that have not been discovered yet. Batteries fielded in Pentagon weapon systems require high energy density and high levels of power density. And they provide an example of what that means. A drone parked over a target needs high energy density, but one moving and launching weapons needs high power density. The War Department's new batteries must have both. They also need to overcome the battery charging problem. If those batteries can get built, but take forever to charge up again, that poses an op-tempo problem. But the biggest hurdle of all is China. The United States doesn't produce most of the components for batteries, nor have the raw materials to do so, and battery buyers are reliant on China. The supply chains are outside American control. China does control those supply chains, and the U.S. needs to find another way, another method that American companies and American industry can take over. Batteries have vast dual-use applications, obviously for the civilian sector primarily, but also for defense. Drones, sensors, communications, robotics, and in military vehicles. China's export business for batteries is booming, but China limits sales of their battery technologies only for civilian applications and restricts shipments to defense contractors. To the Atlantic Council, that means that Beijing is weaponizing their battery monopolies by refusing to let foreign weapon makers buy them. So the U.S. needs to develop a strategy to ensure that the Pentagon is not reliant on China for their batteries. The rest of that paragraph is the tricky part. Like we saw before from DARPA, new battery sciences need to be invented. The Pentagon program must jump ahead of current battery tech to develop different types of batteries that don't depend on Chinese supply chains. That would have the potential to give the U.S. a technological and operations edge. Then they admit that Chinese researchers are already tackling the energy and power density problems and have substantially cut the time it takes to recharge their batteries. China builds tens of millions of batteries for the electric vehicle markets, and that's important too. Chinese companies already have big markets. They're already making money, so they can fund new research and production for defense purposes. Our companies are starting from scratch. This report is from the IEA and it runs 159 pages, and we can see what DARPA and the Pentagon are up against. Battery prices are collapsing in price over time. So any new battery manufacturers would be walking into an already crowded and highly competitive field if they hope to sell products to the mass market. Chinese firms also lead the way on batteries for medium and heavy trucks and heavy construction and mining equipment, which have even greater power demands than what the Pentagon would need for their trucks. Chinese battery makers also have the domestic market, mostly to themselves, which is over half the global demand as it is. And while it's true that the Chinese battery industry has received high levels of government support, it's actually lower than in other G8 countries. Over a 3-year period, China government support was $3 billion for buying incentives. In the United States, it was $44 billion total for EV incentives, charging, and batteries. So NATO governments are already spending tens of billions of dollars to subsidize industries there to develop battery technologies and encourage consumers to buy. But those efforts haven't gone anywhere. Red on this chart is China, who enjoys massive advantages in battery supply chains. The raw materials are mostly sourced from China or from countries very friendly with China, the DRC, Indonesia, and Russia. Material processing is solid red bars. Cell components and battery cells, all China again. That all results in these data for production. China is the green part of those bars where are lithium batteries made, far more than the rest of the world combined. So the Pentagon has a big problem, and we see the same problem in civilian sectors. This is a press release from Prologium. They're working with Elysian aircraft to build battery-powered planes. And it's interesting to see all the conditional and the hypothetical tenses in this document. It's a memorandum of understanding. It's not a contract. That the two parties will have discussions and assessments about the potential application of next-generation batteries. Both parties intend to explore new generation battery cells and lay the groundwork for zero-emission air travel. Then a focus on assessing the feasibility of using batteries in planes. As the companies explore a potential cooperation, expected to focus on battery technologies that support the requirements of big planes flying 750 to 1,000 kilometers or up to 620 miles. That company press release made it all sound very tentative, but interesting engineering picked up the story and made it seem like it's coming any day now. But once again, we learned that the Chinese have already done all that and more. A surprise successful test flight of a large battery-powered plane. CATL builds 37% of all the EV batteries in the world and builds a new condensed battery with an eye to invent the aerospace battery industry in their own labs. CATL teamed up with COMAC, and engineers from both companies got busy fast. CATL says that in the next 2 years, their plane will be in production with a range of between 2,000 and 3,000 km. Remember in the MOU from Elysian and Prologium, they were talking and assessing and thinking about building the foundation for a program for a plane with a range of 1,000 kilometers. CATL did their project in secret and issued their announcement only after it was successfully done. The aerospace industry was shocked, and it will change the jet age forever. This piece does a good job on the science of this new battery, and they explain that CATL's breakthrough was in the battery's cycle life. We'll link to all these. This is the original paper from CATL in Nature Nanotechnology. And this one here is a good explanation and summary that's easier to understand, and how CATL's new battery achieves the energy density required to power large aircraft. But there is the money line. CATL has already invested heavily in research and development with over 43,000 patents for batteries. DARPA and the Atlantic Council are talking about building some batteries for the Pentagon someday. Prologium and Elysian talk about building some batteries they can use in an airplane someday. CATL and COMAC are building the batteries and the planes right now. This is Nanjing. Be good.